Hello, my name is Dana Blickensderfer, and welcome to Art Talks. On this special episode, we are taking you to the heart of Miami Beach during Miami Art Week 2019 at our Jada Art Fair. During our fair, we interviewed our Artist in Residency program artists and key influencers that were a part of Jada Art Fair. Let's take a listen.
So one of the things about Carlos that I do know is that you are an incredibly complex individual. Complex in which sense? Your life history, your profession. I would consider you a brainiac. Am I wrong?
Not really.
No? So why would you define yourself as a brainiac?
No, it's a hard question, Jônatas, but I don't know. Well, first of all, I think too much, I guess. Like I started for that principle. And, I have, as you said, my background is a little strange. I come from, financial market. Like I started working when I was 14 years old, like with numbers. I always loved numbers. Like I never had a score in school that was less than 90, yes, 9 or A plus, yeah.
A plus?
Yeah. And then I went to school. I did, I graduated as a business administrator. Then I have a master, which I concentrate in finance. Mm-hmm. And then I did like 3 years of law school that I hated.
3 years of law school, you said?
Yeah, like here.
I didn't know that about him.
Yeah. And then I worked on General Motors as a chief financial officer. Then I worked in General Motors, the locomotive division, wow, as a financial director for 10 years.
Impressive.
And then I left and I worked in Citibank in Brazil for 3 months. And then they transferred me here to US in 1999.
So you have been in this country since 1999?
1999, yeah, 20 years basically. And so yeah, my whole life, my background is all like...
so it's mostly financial, right?
Yeah.
Dealing with finances.
Mm-hmm.
And but you seem to have, we know each other on a personal basis.
Yeah.
And you seem to have a very mathematical mind. How would you say that reflects today in your work, your aesthetics? And without talking much about your colors yet, mm-hmm, but basically the composition of your paintings.
I know, absolutely it does. Because for me, especially when you see like my geometric pieces, it's the easiest pieces for me to work because it's basically, number lines and angles and it's measurements and calculations and for me it's like a goal. Like I don't even think about it when I just think about the composition, the colors. It's like it's another subject, but the composition of the pieces is easy for me. Like it's angles. I know where I don't even think about it. This is pretty simple actually.
So what is your guiding principle in when we look at your artwork, which are these that are right here? Mm-hmm. Your guiding principle. Do you start with from negative space and then you fill it in with shapes that to you are like characters? I know you have a lot of storytelling, narrative-based mm-hmm, work in mm-hmm, your paintings.
Exactly.
Do you start with the negative and then you fill in with these characters, or is there a different process?
Jônatas, in fact, like what happened is, for example, those series, like the tree in the middle.
Right, these more abstract pieces.
Exactly. Well, you know that I have a ritual, like before I start painting, I pray and then I bless my works in the back.
Oh, so you, in the back of the canvases, you have like blessings for your paintings. So,
yeah.
And there's a ritual, a spiritual
ritual. It's like
ritual.
a spiritual ritual that I do because But I think I'm just going to mention, as you know, like I don't see the colors. And then for me, when I do that, it's like a way of connecting with God, I guess.
Wow.
That's when, you know, I feel comfortable when I do that because it seems that open like a channel. I don't know if I can call it this way.
Sure.
But then I normally, as I said, like I pray and then I feel that I normally ask permission to let me see things somewhere.
Wow.
And then like I just, normally I see flashes like of the images, for example, those, and then I just get the paintings in front of me, get my spatula, and then I go and when I finish, I see, I look, it's done. Like that's when I say that like
impressive.
When I feel that I'm really painting,
yes,
is when I'm seeing the image and my hands are executing, basically, you know.
Excellent.
And it goes all the way.
Carlos, you touched, I don't know if the audience got this part. Did you hear that he does not see colors? Yes. So, and now you just mentioned that there's a whole spiritual process for you to connect. You know, how do you create such colorful pieces, right? And you're saying that you try to channel some kind of energy. You're asking for permission to be able to engage in art.
Yeah. What
Tell us more about that.
What happened is I practiced like a religion in Brazil for 7 years uninterruptedly, where I dedicated my life completely for this preparation. You know, it was 7 years without eating meat, without having sex, without going out or anything. And because I really was believing that you know, through that religion I would be, you know, finding a way to help people. Because I always, since when I am a kid, I always had that in my mind that like my purpose here was to help, you know. And I got extremely disappointed with my religion.
I'm sorry.
And then I abandoned everything. And then in 2006, that's when I started painting. Like I never touched like a brush in my life, because imagine like I don't see the colors. Like a paint was the last thing that I thought that I could do it. And but then when I started painting, I realized that, you know, I think that God is giving me another opportunity, because if He is showing me that, you know, I can do this, so why do I have to give up on my purpose, you know? So everything that I sell, for example, I donate part for charity. My purpose is still the same. Like I want to create like a space, a center where I can help people that needs to be guided.
That is in your future a plan.
That's like my plan, my life plan.
Your life plan.
Yeah, and I don't want to have any sort of a religious connotation involved on this project. You know, I know that it's going to have, because you know, in the end of the day, I have my beliefs, and as much as you don't want to, you're going to, I don't know, unconsciously insert that in your project. Let me put it this way. But so I thought that as I said, I thought that God was giving me another chance, letting me paint without seeing the colors. So
impressive.
I could not like be so obnoxious to think that was just my.
Wow. So it's an entire spiritual experience.
Indeed.
In a way, it seems to be a place of contemplation and where you feel connection to perhaps a creator and how you can bring purpose through your art to society. Does anybody have any questions from the audience? We believe that there's perhaps some intriguing subjects in your life story. Yes, what's your question?
I have a condition called achromatopsia, which just makes me see black and whites and shades of gray, basically. The only color that like I can distinguish a little bit is orange for some reason, and it's for me the happier, color that I can see, and I think you will see that like in almost, if not in all, like almost all my works, it's always going to have some orange on it, because it's like a color that when I see, it makes me happy. Green, for example, makes me extremely sad. Like, I don't know why. That tone, like, I hate it. And and then also, like, using strong colors is easy for me to, when I'm painting, to differentiate, like, them. But it's, yeah, I just figured out that when I was 13 or so.
Interesting.
And then that's when I started, like, with my mom, creating, how can I say, ways of dealing with that, because before I didn't have like many, I didn't know exactly how to deal. The teachers, like, I'm 55 years old, so at that time in Brazil, the teachers were not like very friendly, let me put it this way.
It's a whole different world.
I got like so many slaps in my head that you have no idea, because they teach me colors and they teach me. It was the only thing that like I could not learn. Like, I mean, like, what the heck are they talking about? I couldn't understand.
Incredible.
And then and the rest, like, I was like A student, like, all the time.
A student. So obviously you have this condition, and the truth is, the question that I have is this. And this might be, I don't know how easy it is for you to answer. Would you change anything?
No, not at all. Actually, for example, the fact that, for example, I told you that I got disappointed with my religion, I got disappointed with people that was, that dealing not with the religion itself, because I truly believe that, there is a God out there. That is only one that, every person try to reach it like in a different way. But God is inside you, and it not, for me at least, I respect every other religion. This, I know that like every person thinks that their religion is better than the other sometimes. But I think that if you have your heart like a pure, and the method that you're using to get there, it's really irrelevant,
Amazing.
So I would not change anything. I think that made me the person that I am today. Maybe I would have changed like a couple little things, but I would have been a little more, skeptical with certain things, or a little less naive. I don't know. But no, I would not change my.
That's great. That's great. Any other questions? Yes, please.
Yeah, I see that your work is very unique, by the way.
Thank you.
What kind of medium are you using?
Most of my pieces are mixed medium. And the finishing that you see, like in most of the pieces, it's a epoxy resin. Which some people call like as a liquid glass, which basically the finishing, it would like remind that, but it's like a two parts materials that you mix, and there's like a chemical reaction, and then you get that finishing.
Very interesting.
But mostly it's acrylic, inks, pigments. The only thing that I don't use it is oil. Because I never took an art class as much as Sandra, and so oil, I tried once, and that thing never, was drying, and I was like, what the heck am I gonna do with this? It stayed there like for 3 months, and it didn't dry, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, so I never use it again.
Technically, oil colors, you must wait for them to dry until you can varnish.
Yeah.
And it takes about 2 years to dry.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God! Like, I'm extremely impatient. Like I want to have things done. I'm an Aries, like, so I want to think first.
That's excellent. Yes, there is one that will be the last question. We have to get going, but I believe it's very relevant to have one more question from our audience members.
Question. I just find it extraordinarily fascinating for somebody who doesn't
Oh my God, you make me so happy because, you know, oh, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Carlos. This has been great.
Thank you, my friend.
You're great. You're great.